Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Regenerative Business podcast. We're on for our second episode in the Radical Riches series, and I brought on a newer friend slash peer slash inspiration, Kimberly Pendleton. So hi, say hi, Kim.
Hi, so happy to be here.
And I'm going to have her introduce herself in a second, but just to give a little tidbit about what we're talking about is really this idea of divine money laundering and how, especially as heart-centered people, whether you're from an environmental background or academia or from a religious background or a nonprofit background, how do we actually become these divine money launderers so that we can channel money into the causes that we most feel aligned with. So welcome, Kim. So happy you're here.
Yes. Oh my God. So happy to be here. And honestly, so glad we're talking about this and taking our conversations from the realm of private text chat
Mhm.
to public podcast forum, because I know it's just so alive for so many of my clients. I'm guessing so many of your clients, like that feeling of, I want to be the vehicle that can really help bring about change. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is through my business. And like, how do I even think about this? So I think it's so good.
Yeah. And I think it's so obvious. It's so obvious
Totally.
once you realize it. But
Like
I
five
mean,
years
it took me
later, it's so
forever,
obvious.
right?
Yeah, yes. No, but you're absolutely right. And not to just jump straight into the deep end, but it's now so obvious looking back
Mhm.
that some of my earlier patternings around I'll keep myself in scarcity, I'll keep myself not having enough. It's so obvious that didn't do shit. It was so unhelpful. It was like so profoundly not supportive of anything that I wanted to be part of supporting and helping. And it did was like, I was miserable and not very useful either. Wow, wow.
Yeah. So wait, let's get your intro.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Dr. Kimberly Rose Pendleton, and I am an intimacy coach. Actually, my foundation in my business has been all about intimacy and trauma healing, and especially like bringing that into our leadership and our businesses, and just not leading from all of our deepest wounds, but instead leading from like our healing and who we like want to be. And so I run something called the Intimacy Incubator, which is basically just a bunch of courses all year long. I have a mastermind. I take clients to Paris because it's like this pleasure infusion. But yeah, over the years, my business Uncover has really grown, and we're celebrating having made $5 million, which is so exciting. And also, to be honest, so unbelievable. If you knew the inside of my head and the like pit that especially my stuff around money has been in, like you would be in awe that like I've even made $1. And like when I think about having this conversation, it feels so full circle because like me 10 years ago in grad school, working for a church, terrified of being one of the bad rich people, would have looked at me now and been like, it's completely illegible that you could be like helping people and making money and having a fun, beautiful life. You told people we like Paris. I can't believe it. I mean, it would just feel like a mix of betrayal and deep desire.
Oh my God. Oh, that juicy cauldron right there.
Totally. Yeah. Secrets out.
And you're a new mom. So you're doing
Oh
all
my
of
God.
this
Yes.
with a newborn baby.
Oh my God. Exactly. Yes. I have baby Rosie in tow now. And the truth is, of course, I wasn't sure how that was going to impact how I felt about anything. I was like, am I going to still care about any of my
Yeah.
business? And instead, it's been like heightened. I feel this feeling of even more. What kind of world do
Yes.
we want to can create and convey and leave her? And what do I want her to be surrounded by? Like she can hear us. So what do I want us to be saying? It's been really, really interesting and terrifying in a way, but also like lighting that fire under me to be like, okay, like we've got to work on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's so interesting with your background. And I know that so many of my listeners resonate. If you have any sort of connection to what is right in the world, because we're in such an exploitative society and like the patriarchy and all of these powers that be that are suppressing women, suppressing people of color, suppressing disabled people, that it's just going against the stream to be successful
Totally.
in a culture like this because it's
Right.
ingrained in us to not
Yes.
be successful.
Yes, totally. And I'm sure that this is something that like you and your listeners are already grappling with so regularly. But I think for me, it's been like, how do I hold two true things at
Yeah.
once, which is that like this system is messy and broken and exploitative, and also that my personal struggle won't help
Yes.
more. In
Yes.
fact, maybe opposite. And it was like holding both of those and in a way sacrificing the allure of purity. Like I think for me, a
Oh,
lot of what I had to do was like divest from this idea that there would be like a pure goodness and a world in which like my hands are clean and like I'm not involved in this like bad, messy, gross money stuff. And it's like, to be honest, that was really like selfish too. And when I see that desire in other people, often directed at me when they're mad at me for thinking about making money, like I just have so much sympathy because it does feel terrifying to
yeah.
be implicated and to really like grapple with the reality that like there is no, at least in my opinion, there is no outside of the broken system. So pretending that you're not part of the problem, it can feel a little bit better for you personally maybe, but I don't think it actually does that much good.
Yeah. So one of the first magical books I read was Financial Sorcery by Jason Miller. And it was just in the intro, it's unless you are going to join a monastery or you're going to go off grid, like legitimately off grid, uncomfortably build your own house in the woods with no power and no running water if you're near a stream, then you are in
Right.
this system.
You're in it. And okay, not to be like so annoying, but like even both of those, I'm sure we could find ways that you're still, I mean, it's like, how are you burning the wood in
Yeah.
as you make your own fucking fire? And who's feeding the monastery? Like you're still probably in it. I remember, okay, this is different, but the moment of relief and like betrayal I felt when I learned that Thoreau, who had written all that stuff about being off in the woods alone, was like on his mom's property and she was making him lunch every day. I was like, A, of course. B, like this is a radical recalibration around like solitude in the woods and the fantasy of the like lone man. It was like we are interconnected,
Yeah.
we are dependent on each other. We're definitely dependent on the planet. Come on, this fantasy of isolated, pure goodness is it's a way of getting out of your communal responsibility, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, I love that term communal responsibility. That's really good.
Yeah. Okay, and then while we're talking about it, I think that another piece for me that it would be so interesting to hear your take on is like the gender dimension. Because my background, especially with religion and purity culture, but honestly, even nonprofit work, it was like there felt like there was also like deep distrust of pleasure for women
Yeah.
and like decadence and indulgence in this kind of like feminine, unwily, I don't know, we can't trust it way.
Yeah.
And so it's been like really powerful for me to buy flowers and purses and
Yeah.
chocolate and things that like do read as like indulgent and maybe even like shallow unless you realize what a fight it was to let yourself have them. And that's been like very interesting for my clients too.
Yeah. There's even a step before this where it's like 100% all for that, but there's one. so many women are in situations where they're stuck in toxic situations because they have no financial way out.
That 100%. Yeah.
Like ground zero is like getting to a place where you're financially stable enough on your own to be able to make your
Yeah.
own choices and get out of toxic situations. That's not even like
Right.
going into pleasure. It's we need.
Your like baseline of
Yeah.
like minimizing. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And then within business, I read this stat the other day. This is a Rachel Rogers. She did a lot of independent research for her book, We Shall Be Millionaires. Like
Billionaires. Yeah.
such good stats in there. And it's 39% of businesses are women owned and
Mm,
2% of them get to the seven-figure mark.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And even the six-figure mark is
Yeah.
like wildly smaller than you would think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm jumping around a little bit.
Jump away.
Something you
This is
said before.
it's so great.
Something I want to get back to desire, but something you said
Yeah.
before the we started hitting record was you got into your business with this pleasure angle.
Mm.
Angle's a weird word.
Mhm.
Led by pleasure and like going
Yeah.
into intimacy and relationships
Yeah.
and that was a big jump from this Christian background, but you said you were shamed more for making good money than you were for talking about sex.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I think too, when I'm really honest about like where I've had to do my own work and continue to do mindset work and let more in and work on my own receiving capacity, it like really wasn't as hard around sex and intimacy. Like that was its own learning curve, but like money has been like so much harder and there's just been so much more there. And yeah, it's been interesting to see reactions, right? First of all, on the back end, I can see which people from church are like secretly buying my courses. So it's like
Oh,
fun to
so
see like the religious trauma, but also the flirting course and the sex course. There's stuff there,
yeah.
but there's also something around like the way people have reacted to me starting this business. And I think that it has to do with the fact that, okay, not only did she leave and become slutty and turn her whole social media into basically being slutty on the internet, now she's getting paid to help other women do this too. Almost this feeling of, oh God, like, how dare you make money that way? And then also the fact that it's so much money, it's just been very confronting to my old community, I think.
I love that. I love that for them.
I know. Fucking welcome. Well, because that's the other piece, right? Like you can see them tunneling in, peering in, and I am not even mad. I'm just like, come on. First of all, yes, you can pay for that. You can buy that course, which is feeling like a refund, like for the trauma. I'm like, yes, please, you can pay me back for all of this. But also, second of all, a feeling of, yeah, of course, no one taught them about pleasure and receiving and the thought that any of this could feel good, whether it comes to money or sex or both, or like creating a business even out of like their own mission and desire. It feels like it shouldn't all be connected, but it really is. Like our capacity to receive, at least in my experience, it's just been so linked across all of those fields, whether it's like receiving pleasure in bed or like receiving money in business or receiving ideas to create more. It's the same part of me. And it was all taboo and it all got free at once.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. So what I see from my perspective is because I see copywriting, I see sharing on social media, I see all of writing within our business as the opportunities to create new paradigms and
Yeah.
like create new worlds that
Yes.
other people can step into. But like, the scary thing is you have to create the world for people to step into, especially if it's very
Yeah.
different. And
Yeah.
so you going first,
Mm.
obviously, but that actually is the invitation for those people, like the people who are already a yes, like they could actually
Yeah.
jump in. And you spoke to something that they wish existed, but didn't even know they wished it
Right.
existed.
Right.
But it's like slowly
Yes.
working on the people who were traumatizing you and shaming
I
you.
mean,
Mhm.
so real, right? And then it's so funny to think about even within our industry and like within maybe conversations among people who have big visions for the
Yeah.
world and also are like attuned to what's fucked up and like the suffering and the ways things are not the way they should be, like there's a whole other set of reasons to feel funky about money coming in or to be pretty aware and conscious of the dynamics of it and try to figure out like what is the role of somebody who's like able to steward this
Yeah.
or does have privilege or is reaching financial success, like then what? And
Yeah.
I feel like that's another element that like you and I have shared that I think is going to just grow and grow in conversation where people really are like, my solution is going to be to like thrive and then to use the money that's coming in ways that I believe in. And that's this next layer, at least for me, of like intimacy and leadership, staying really connected
Yeah.
to your heart and what you want to contribute. And that's where that idea for me that's been so helpful of money laundering has come into place where I'm like, yeah, send me the money and I will send it back out. And it makes it feel like I'm playing an important role, even if it's not as direct in
Yeah.
every area. It's, oh, maybe I can send it in the direction that I'm hoping the world could go.
Mhm. Yeah. No, you mentioned that term, which I'm sure you've said all over the place. And I was like, oh my God, this is
It's so
literally the
good, right?
perfect term.
Yeah, it's so helpful.
And
I'm like, here, let me just, I'll take that. And now here, it goes over here.
yeah. And I earlier this year, my accountant was like, you need to stop. You need more business expenses because you're
Yeah,
making more money. And I was
literally,
like,
you need to do more money
and
laundering.
I'm like, don't worry, because my husband is also a business owner, and
Yeah,
we file jointly for taxes, and I'm like, don't
yeah,
worry, we're just gonna buy a bunch of trees for his regenerative
yes,
farm, no problem.
yeah,
It's literally
yes,
it's
yes.
totally the money laundering.
Oh my God, I love that. Also, I feel like there's like a joke on the tip of my tongue about like money not growing on trees. It's no, I turn the money into
Into
trees. You're
trees.
like, you're in the other side
Yeah.
of it. But it's so good. And I think that if I'm like just bold in the controversial space anyway, I think that one reason, so I work with mostly women. When I'm mentoring other entrepreneurs, it's mostly other women who do have these big visions, big hearts, and have huge money blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like me, of
Yeah.
course. I'm like, you can't bring me one I didn't also have. So don't worry. But one of the things that I think is going on is that they're stopping themselves from success because it's going to mean so much responsibility too. It is going to mean like you have to decide, do I say no to that charitable request and yes to these trees and no to that trip and yes to this thing over here and team paying people and paying bonuses and saying maybe no to some things and yes to others. I think that if insofar as I do believe that we are like, whatever, manifesting our destiny or whatever, I think it's a reason sometimes success feels really scary because it is going to come with leadership around finances and being that like money launderer that like we're not always trained on how to do that.
I think that can actually be the fun manifestation process, right? What if you are making
Yes.
50,000, 100,000, $250,000 plus months?
Yeah. Then what? And
Where's the
like,
money going?
yeah. Yeah. And who do you have to be in that
Yeah.
moment? And even this is like a more negative version, but it does help snap me out of my bullshit. Sometimes I'll be like, what would I be worried about then
Yeah.
that can make what I'm worrying about right now feel like small potatoes? It's what is $10 million Kim worrying about that $5 million Kim is like, she's left that behind. They're new issues.
Okay, let's go back in time for
Yeah.
you because with the academia, the nonprofit background, the Christian religious indoctrination background, you and now having a super successful business that you're able to fund this change in the world. And we haven't
Yeah.
even talked about what you're actually doing, but we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I want to know what was the period before, because you started a business
Yeah.
and then figured out how to actually receive money.
Yeah, amen to that.
Was there an
Actually,
event? Was there a singular, or was it a slow build, or was there a singular, oh fuck, now I understand?
Oh my God, such a good question. I would say sometimes it is helpful for me to anchor back into the first thing I was doing in my business way before I was comfortable even using the word business. I was like, I'm not making one of those. I'm just selling things for money. It's like, hello, yes, you are. But it was like I was running these vision board workshops in my art studio and I was charging $7. And
Oh,
so it feels so funny sometimes to think, wow, like we're at seven figures a year and we started at $7 and I like wasn't even covering like the cost of my Trader Joe's wine like on the table.
oh,
Like it's just so different. And yet, I don't think I could have started anywhere else. Like, I had so much work to do around receiving, around money and being paid. And I think that there was some feminist undercurrent that helped me get there, where it was like, I believe that women should get paid for their work? Do I consider care work to be like worthy
yeah.
of compensation? Do I want to even out this feeling where I feel like I've been giving and giving my whole life actually for free and like getting extracted from, and what would it feel like to be like compensated? So there were these like shifts in even like my own thinking about it. And I know for a lot of people, like dropping into the body is so important. And I think that is so powerful. But yeah, I had to get there in my head of this is work. This is labor, actually, like helping people, holding them through like this process. And then even that next step of not only that, it's labor that the world mostly expects from women for free. And like I
I
am sick
love that.
of like a VIP day with me is $10,000. And I think a lot about this because I used to spend the day with people. This is so not allowed to say, but we're talking about all these things anyway. But I'd like spend the day with somebody and they'd walk away and just be like, wow, I feel so much better. Like I feel so inspired and clear, like just friends or like
Yeah.
family. And I'd walk away being like, I feel like really drained. And I'm so glad you got everything you needed, but I need to go sleep for 2 days. And so getting paid has really evened out a lot of that energetic exchange. Like it feels like an acknowledgement that like being around me is a gift. And all of this is like so taboo, but it's honestly true. And it's made me also so much happier to give it. And I've been able to be like, oh, okay, the difference between me doing this for free, leaving depleted, and then not being able to create anything
Yeah.
versus me charging and then being able to like make a donation or buy somebody lunch the next day. It's like I'm in overflow and I can share that. So I feel like there was a big turning point for me, even in thinking about what do we consider work and what happens if I really acknowledge that I have some major gifts in this area. They've been mostly devalued by the society I live in, but that doesn't actually mean that they're not worth anything. They're actually maybe priceless.
Did you, was it a part of this seeing other people like you doing this kind of work and charging for it? Was seeing,
Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
I think so. I definitely had a feeling of like permission from learning about the industry, like where it was like, oh, okay, oh, a day with her like cost this much. Oh, I think it helped me start thinking about it. But of course, at first, I like would reject it completely. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Like, this is like terrible. And then have to look at my own reaction. So if anybody's having that reaction right now to me, just know you're on track and you'll be making millions in a few years. That's part of the process. Like, reject first. But no, like I think just starting to see, maybe also seeing, because the path I was on was in academia and it was like so chronically underfunded, like knowing that like people were going into it. It was like, I'm going into academia after having worked in churches and nonprofits. I'm just so used to everyone being like burned out and broke, and having that feel, if not like a sign of virtue, at least like we're on track. This is so normal. And
Yeah.
just really starting to think like, is that what I believe? Do I think that people who are doing the most work in the world for what I care about should have the least and be like perpetually in precarity. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting with the academia thing. One of the women in my mastermind, she has a academic background around climate science, and she's
Yeah.
when I'm currently funding and I'm excited to make more money to fund is
Yeah.
funding more research or in this area, in these
Yes.
specific areas, and like being the person from academia actually funding the academic
Yes.
research. Like, how good is that?
Oh my God, but it's so not allowed. I'm sure you're working with her on like all the shadow of it because it's so taboo to be on both ends of that. And yet, personally, I can't think of anything better.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
because environmental background, same sort of shame, right? Like we
totally,
shouldn't be making money.
totally.
Money is bad, and
Right.
its own flavor of it. But
Yeah,
I went the route. I went and like you went the route of I'll go
yeah,
fully into being good. Like I ended up on like in conscious communities in like
yeah,
Hawaii, and I was like, oh, these
yeah.
people are way more fucked up than like.
Oh my God, girl, the Christian conscious communities, it's like all that, except you're also not allowed to have sex. Oh God. So many rules. The kitchen's always dirty, and I have to keep the door open.
And it's exactly what you were saying before. It's shirking communal responsibility, right?
I
It's
think in
like
a
I'm just
weird
gonna
way.
avoid, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
over there, and
yeah,
we're gonna create
yeah,
this small little pocket of people. We're gonna create this
yeah,
alternative society over
yeah.
here. And instead of working, it's right. Like I remember
Yes.
I remember in college seeing some of my peers go into these bigger organizations and seeing the value of working from within. But
Yeah.
I was like, but is it actually valuable?
I know. I know it.
And now I
Yeah.
feel like so
Yeah.
strongly that it is actually really important to be working within, or else you're going to
Yeah.
leave so many people behind.
I know. We've like need people on, it's like a all hands on
Yes.
deck moment. It's like
Yeah.
we can be in, be out, be on top, underneath. We need everybody. But I know just what you mean. And that temptation is so alluring to be like, I am good over here, separate. Let me like divest.
Mhm.
And I think that it's just such a human desire. But if we could break down what it is, it's still just about us.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I'm not going to pretend it's more helpful than somebody doing what they want in some other way. Yeah, you might as well be like in the French restaurant having the decadent lunch. To me, they're the same.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
also respecting, not to say that the French restaurant it pays its people any better, but usually places like that can actually respect people in the food chain.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like there is like a, at least like a fantasy I have, and like it feels like a direction we could be going where it's just like everyone's getting more
Mhm.
taken care of by all of this than less.
Mhm.
But yeah, I know it's tricky. And the desire to do good, I think, can sometimes get thrown out with the bathwater. And I don't want that. I think that I definitely know people who went so deep into some of that work. They did live in the intentional communities and they gave up everything and whatever, and then like completely burned out or,
Yeah.
worked for a nonprofit. Even it's so ironic and hilarious, but so common. But like my friend at the labor rights nonprofit who like didn't get a lunch break and didn't get paid time off when he got sick. It's just the irony. And then go all the way the other direction.
Mhm.
And so what I think is available to us, especially in this cushy era of entrepreneurship, is to create businesses that can do really well, that can pay everybody who's like part of creating this so well and acknowledge and celebrate all of the labor and all of the work and still be a force for change. I'm not going to pretend that I think like we could save capitalism, but it does seem okay, like within the system that we're in, like all I know is my business is paying a lot of people like really well. And I have to think that is better than
Yeah.
like all the experiences we've all had of getting not paid for our work. And like, how unstable that was.
Mhm. And for those listening, even if you don't want to have a cushy income, you can still make lots and lots of money and just give it
Way,
and you get to
totally.
100% say where the money goes.
Yes, yes. No, it's so true. It's so true. There's no law. Like you get to do this.
And
Yeah,
like, so with your intimacy, from the intimacy somatic relationship perspective, I'm
yeah,
curious your perspective on the person who can channel money in and just give it all away, and
yeah,
which is beautiful. If you're straight up
yeah.
just like a channel and you're living
Right.
frugally and you're just like using it like no problem.
Totally,
But
totally.
I'm wondering when you can actually nourish yourself to receive more personally, how does that actually impact the nervous system and your own ability to
Mm.
create?
Yeah, I love that. I think you're already just like on it with that, the way you're saying that question. But that's been my experience is that the more I tend to that part of me who can receive softness and pleasure and relax and like breathe deep, which I like for me, this is where like a lot of the like trauma healing work comes in and intimacy work comes in. It's just made it so much easier for like money to flow in too, because I'm not on like hyper alert. And I think what I see the most with my clients is that it feels like maybe like a business strategy question or a discipline question so often. And instead, it's like a nervous system and like nourishment support opportunity, like a way for somebody to be like, can I relax into this and receive more?
Mhm. Oh, I love that.
I know it's so good, especially for, I just like never talk to men. I'm sure it's true for them too, but especially for women, where there is so much patterning around like extract from yourself and give to the point of like utter depletion. It's so valorized. It's so commonplace. I think it's really radical just to start questioning what if that wasn't my default? What if self extraction and denial weren't my norm? It can be so liberating. It can also come with a lot of grief around like all the years before or the family lineage patterns of how little women had and had to get by on. But there's no better time to heal it than now.
Mhm. What what I'm thinking about is because you acknowledged already the different pieces, different players, different types of people playing different parts in the change in the world, or even just like surviving in the weird times that we're in.
Yeah,
And for the people who are like everyone listening, you're an entrepreneur, right? Like, why would you listen to a regenerative business podcast if you're not
totally,
like
totally.
an
Yeah,
entrepreneur
welcome.
or wanting to be one, right? Or
Yeah, yeah.
like stepping into that.
Dabbling.
And something that recognizing that we can be these channels of money and our business can be these vehicles of change and vehicles to channel money into change within our current society, recognizing that our current society is really messed up. Ideally, we wouldn't have to fund supporting single mothers, and
Okay,
our
excellent
collective,
point.
like our government
Right,
should be doing that, right? Like
right,
we can all
right,
agree with
right.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, really solid point.
And you just fully funded your own maternity leave. Your business did,
Right,
right? Your business
right.
supported your maternity leave, and like other countries
Yes.
support women, like fund women's maternity leave.
Totally. No, there is an argument to be made in the big picture
Yeah.
that if we like keep doing this, we're just enabling this bad behavior. But the truth is, I think in the short term, like I want
Yeah.
people to be supported, so it feels worth it. But you're absolutely right. I think it is why like work from within also,
Yeah.
because we should be pushing for some of this to change. And then in the meantime, there is a feeling of, yeah, I've never been more committed to women having money than right now as I like come off of a maternity leave that I was able to like take and be with my baby. And pay for a really high risk delivery and like things that just, yeah, like it's really ameliorated any guilt that I was still carrying around like success, because I'm just like, it's too important. Every woman needs millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I also will say, like, what I've seen with my clients at least is that the people who are having this conversation, who are like, how do we hold it? How do we steward it? Who do I need to be to show up in order to be like responsible with this? I have yet to see something bad happen when those entrepreneurs are the ones that thrive. There is for sure, I think, a danger if we go unconscious about that. And I think that there's a temptation in abundance, like work, to just be like more all the time is the goal. And I don't think that's true abundance. I think that's deeply scarce. But the people who are asking and who are going like, what can I do with this? How can I be with this? They're the ones that I end up seeing really be trustable with abundance.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so if you're questioning this in yourself.
Right? Like you're already on track.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and a part of this is because we've talked about, like, of course, this is a part of this is a band-aid to a society that should be more supportive of its citizens, and especially people without privilege, minority people.
Yeah.
That just isn't happening. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
It's happening. And a part of this is the band-aid and a solution that we
Yeah.
all have access to. And you're taking strides towards in listening to this. But
Yeah.
it's also with more money in our current society comes more power, or you're
Yeah.
often invited to seats at the table. You're able to fund bigger visibility channels in your business, being seen by more people, not just
Right.
by hiring social media managers or paying for ads or all these things, which again comes with influence and power. And obviously, I know some people don't love the idea of getting a seat at the table because who the fuck wants to be at that table? That is inspiring to me. I'm sure
Yeah.
a certain percentage of people, when they are listening to this, are feeling like, yeah, I want to be at those conversations, even if it's just to be the revolutionary voice.
Yeah. Or like, how would the conversations change if you
Yeah.
were sitting at the table? I think is a great way to think about it too. Like for so many listeners, just your presence is a revolution. And so it's more a gift to them. It's not, oh, lucky me, I get to be at the table. It's like, lucky them that you are there. And like with your energy and experience could shift it.
Mhm. Yeah. Even just women coming into all men conversations. That
I
in real
know.
life, you see it on TV, like it's definitely
Right.
gonna change higher levels.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's so good. I think that there is a balance between, yeah, the responsibility and the desire, and that feeling of you can really trust yourself with both.
Hmm.
Like so much of my intimacy work journey with clients is about can they trust their desires after like maybe conditioning for their whole lifetime that it was selfish or sinful or bad or wrong to be like thinking about what they want or listening to what they want. It's like that baby step back into what if I could trust myself with desire? And I think responsibility is so similar. And at each level, as I become the $500,000 entrepreneur and the $1 million entrepreneur and the $5 million entrepreneur, it's like, can I be with the reality that like I'll reach out for the support that I need. I'll learn as I'm going. I'll expand my capacity as I grow. And I can trust myself with the responsibility that comes with this.
Mm. Yeah. So before we have to wrap up, I want to hear about what you're supporting through your business.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's such an honor. I wish I could say I did this on purpose. It would be such a good story. But I was trying to get pregnant, and without really putting the pieces together, I decided to commit to an organization that I've been so in love with since its inception. It was founded by friends of mine. It's called Loving Black Single Mothers. And my husband was raised by a single mother. I have a lot of clients who are single mothers. Like it just felt really, oh my God, I'm like such a yes to, yeah, in a way, like a band-aid for sure. Like this shouldn't be an issue. We shouldn't have like a population that is so abandoned and denigrated by our society, but we do. So it's in the meantime, as I see like women of color, but especially mothers of color, but especially single mothers of color being scapegoated by the media and just like completely unsupported. I want to be a part of changing this. And so I think it would have been cool if I had been like, this is part of me manifesting a baby, but it was just like a random, amazing coincidence. But as soon as I committed to sponsoring a mom full time, I got pregnant. And it was like such a beautiful journey to be on together and to be confronting some of my own stuff around scarcity because it was like, oh, should I be saving this money for my baby? But no, I'm gonna give it. But like way bigger than that, just being like so honest with myself about what I like believe in and want. And one of the things that's really important to me in terms of where money goes is supporting organizations where people's humanity and dignity and even joy is like really highlighted. There's such a easy option to really make recipients of any kind of mutual aid just seem miserable because life is really hard and you could pull at people's heartstrings and emotions and get it to be like, look how terrible this is, give, but it can really sacrifice dignity, I think, and do more damage maybe than good. And I think this so often about nonprofit marketing. So anyway, loving Black single mothers was such a yes to me because they're just like, no, it's a gift to get to give to us. Like you are part of an ecosystem of care that is healing you too. And I like really believe that. And so it's been really beautiful. And their marketing materials are very like, these are our clients, like vibrant and thriving. And that's what we want. And we want you to be motivated to participate in that, not moved out of pity.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really great organization.
Oh. And coming to the end of the hour, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
just
know we could
wanna,
talk for hours, but luckily it's like a lifelong
yeah.
conversation and evolution. So there's no rush.
I just want to scoot back to that moment for you when you were able to start making significantly more money in your business, and that was that realization that you could be a divine money launderer. And
Yeah.
was there a moment with that, or was it like, yeah, you're nodding?
Yeah, there was. I had a moment. Let's see. It feels like it was a choice when I moved out to California during COVID, and my husband, who works in restaurants, his restaurant had just closed, and we were like in free fall. Like my business had been making money, but not. I was still acting like it was like this surprise little hobby. Like, what am I? Oh my God. Like, how did I? And then suddenly I was in charge. And
Yeah.
there was like, oh my God, panic. Even though my months were usually higher, but they were sometimes like high and low. And he was the steady income generator. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take over. I want to fund. I didn't want him to have to go back to work because I was scared. And I was like, I'm just going to step it up and like let myself receive. And it was a really interesting process because I noticed that the shift from struggling like underdog into competent CEO cost me some friends. Like I had some friends and there was this like one moment in particular. I think the reason I was nodding, like I had this moment with a colleague who was like, it's wrong. It's like wrong for you to be making this much money. And I was just so confused by it at the time, even though I understood it. I was also like, I knew I was like, we were helping a family member buy a house. We were like paying my employees and they were safe at work instead of having to go to these dangerous jobs like Nick's job. So it was like, I just felt like I had to confront it finally
Yeah.
for myself and to be like, literally, people are going to be in danger if I don't make more money. Like it was such an interesting way that COVID was in this like backdrop for me.
Yeah.
And so I decided I couldn't afford to listen to her. And I wrote a response. I took a year to write a response to her posts about me. I had this note on my phone and I just kept adding to it and deleting and adding. And it was like, okay, like bitchy shit when I was just triggered and then coming into like the truth. But she ended up inspiring like one of my most powerful posts about like money and compensation. She was somebody I knew from grad school at Yale, and she was still in it, but she was like, oh, life coaches, like blah, blah, blah. I mean, and I get it. I get it. Like in our master's program at Yale, you were not supposed to go become like a sexy life coach, like not the plan. But we have the same name actually. So I was writing like, Dear Kim. It was just like so funny. It's just such like a God, just like up there laughing. But I'm like writing this like note to her, but really to me of like, Dear Kim, do we like really believe it's not okay for women to get paid for this kind of work? Do we really believe you're not going to do good with it? Like really? And whatever, a year later, finally published it and it helped so many of my clients. And by then I was making twice as much anyway.
Oh my God. So good. Okay, so I think this is the homework for the episode, you guys.
Yeah.
Go write a post. You can choose whether you want to post it publicly or not. Bonus extra credit if you post it publicly.
Yeah.
But write a letter to the people who, whether they have called you out or not, or if it's just like a call out in your head.
Totally. Totally.
To where you want to make a stand of why
Yeah.
you making money and women making money and women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses making money and doing great work with their money and employing people with their money and giving to causes with their money, why that is super important.
Oh my God, tag us when you
And
do
please
this.
tag
Tag
us.
me.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'm going to save.
#divine money laundering.
Yeah. Yes.
Also,
Hashtag
we're
Dear
thinking of
Kim.
doing a master class, you guys. Do you guys want us to
Yeah.
do a master class on this?
Duh. We have to.
Now we have to.
Or you can just listen to this over and over and over.
Yeah, like recognizing you are like creating a new reality for people around you to
Yeah.
step into because your
Yeah.
words are powerful. And
Yeah.
also it's directly communicating to the inner critic in your own brain. So it's like multi-level effectiveness.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think we need to end on this.
I
But
agree. This was great. Thank you
yeah,
for just
tell
rolling.
everyone like how they can work with you, where they can find you online.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you like this kind of conversation, I might be someone you'd want to hang out with because this is like my favorite thing to do. But I've got a free group, Pleasure is Power. I try to pack it with free courses and resources all the time in there. And then I've got a mastermind for entrepreneurs that opens its doors this week. And I really believe in helping women make a lot of money and then figuring out what to do with it. It's like my favorite. So it's the Uncovered CEO. And I would be so happy to have anybody who is turned on by this call in there.
So good. And Facebook group, right? It's a free Facebook group.
Yeah, Pleasure is Power is on Facebook. And I'm on Instagram often at Dr. Kimberly Rose Pendleton, just sharing a lot of memes about Jesus and sex.
Okay.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, I think most of my people are on Instagram, but so I don't know. But yeah, if you're on Facebook, go join that Facebook group.
Yeah. And I link to it all on Instagram too, the free courses and stuff. So for sure, like you're so welcome.
And any like final words of wisdom or messages you have for everyone?
I'll share what I wish I had really imbibed earlier, which is you can be trusted with what you want. Like you can be trusted.